Hello, everyone. Welcome to Just Live Tarot, where we take our power and our lives back into our own hands as best as we are capable. Today's collective reading is for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Cross watchers are welcome. Taurus, please remember that this is not a personalized reading, so take what flips, flip energies when necessary, and if it don't apply, let it fly. Today's reading, Taurus, is looking into what you need to know regarding finances for the rest of the month of September of 2023. Please use what does resonate as a means of helping you make better informed decisions moving forward for whatever may be putting you in a crossroads situation. And with that, let us dive in. Father God, I ask that you grant me the wisdom and clarity to interpret these messages as clearly and articulately as possible for the Taurus collective, so that they may use their free will to make better informed decisions. Thank you. Taurus, I'm not surprised to see the Knight of Pentacles fall out the deck for you. We're going to talk about that in a moment when I get a bit more context as to what this is about. On its own, the Knight of Pentacles is a card of taking its time. It's a card of diligence. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the deck because it's also the most enduring. This is the knight that is most likely to see things through to the very end and reach its end destination. And it does so by taking its time to assess its surroundings first, and then move at a slow and steady pace, kind of like the tortoise and the hare. Okay. What do my Taurans need to know regarding their finances for the remainder of the month of September 2023? Let's move you up there. Taurus. This isn't going to resonate for all of you. And I feel like some of you who it does resonate with won't admit it. But this reading seems to be looking at Taurans who are mixing business with pleasure, in the sense of there's someone in the workplace with whom you may be romantically interested in, invested in, or involved with, or all of the above. And there's conflict that comes with it. The Five of Pentacles. Oof, that is not what I meant to say. Knock on wood. Let's hope it doesn't get there. Five of Pentacles. I meant to say Five of Wands. Five of Pentacles is a card of financial loss and feeling left out in the cold. So let's hope that that's not what's about to manifest for you, because that could be the case here and here with the Four of Cups. So let's not go there. And the Five of Cups, which I almost just said, is more about crying over spilled milk. So make sure your priorities are where they ought to be. Now, with the Five of Wands, baseline energy, we're referring to conflict. Conflict within your own space. Now, what this conflict is about is hinted with both the Page of Cups and the Two of Cups. Otherwise, I would have looked at this as being about competition, not in the romantic sense, but in the business sense. However, this seems to be leaning towards I hope you're not dealing with third party situations that are also in the workplace, because that would be too messy for how you normally would operate, Taurus. Um, and I don't say that as an accusation. I say that because I've seen better for you and from you. With the Page of Cups, we're looking at exploring curiosities. This could also be a card indicating reconciliation between you and another person whom there is mutual feelings between. Now, I get a split here because I am speaking to some Taurans that are dealing with love in the workplace, but I also get a split within that group as well, because some of you are dealing with either a situationship or a romantic situation with someone of the same sex as you. And perhaps that is where the conflict comes in. I'm going to speak about this group first because it's coming off stronger right now to me, and then we'll go back to the other group. For some of you, you might be in some kind of involvement with someone of the same sex, and you might not be used to that. And you might not identify that way, but deep down there's something there that you might not want to admit, and that is causing problems between you and your person. Stop falling. We're not doing that. I'm trying to grab this card right here. The Knight of Pentacles. This might be why you seem to be stagnant right now, trying not to move, because you're trying to figure out what the best step forward would be, what direction would be the best way to go. That makes sense. What concerns me here is you have Devil and the Tower back to back, following a Two of Cups, ending in a Four of Cups, Taurus. So, what it seems like for those of you involved in this situation, I feel like the Tauran here is the one who is the person who usually identifies as straight outwardly and to the public. Um, if that is the case, Taurans, then there's a few things to note. One, is this someone that you have genuine romantic feelings for, or is this someone that you just have an uncharacteristic or an unusual lust for that is reciprocated between you and your person? That might be cause of some confusion that you're enduring right now that you don't want to put out there. Um, this is not the direction I thought this was going to go in, but it's coming to me, so I'm going to speak on it. It doesn't have to resonate for everyone, but someone needs to hear this. Taurans who identify as straight but are finding themselves in this situation may be confused because they might find that they are only able to see themselves in a relationship with women, and yet there might be someone else whom is of the same sex that you wouldn't mind making an exception for, even if it's just strictly on a lustful manner. And if that's what it is, then it is what it is. Own that. Accept that. It doesn't change anything about you or who you are, regardless of what other people may have to say about it. It's also no one's business besides you and the person whom you are interested in with the Two of Cups. It really isn't. So if you're in a position where it's like, what would people say? I come from a small town where that's not acceptable, or I come from a very traditional family where that's just a big no-no, it's none of their business. Welcome to 2023, by the way. we're almost done with the year. Now, Taurans who are in this situation, and don't worry, I didn't forget about the other group of Taurans. Taurans who are in this situation, you're risking being in a situation where your lack of action and lack of decision is in and of itself serving as an active decision, because that's pretty much what it is, right? It's decisive in action as to what to do here. So this might be a Taurus that likes to try to bury things and let time take its course. And when enough time has passed, then perhaps, you know, it'll be time to try to um, return to the situation and try to go from there and see what can be done with that situation and if things can be smoothed over or what have you. But doing this with this situation, Taurus, is not going to work out for you. It's not. Because when you don't do what you are supposed to do, and it's something that you are meant to resolve, then life is going to go on regardless of you trying not to move. You know, life doesn't stand still with you. And that's going to cause a tower moment for you. Now, this tower moment is going to cause a I don't want to I wanted to say an ending, but I don't feel like the ending is quite clear cut. So it might feel like an ending, but it's not actually an ending. It's just leaving you and even your person with a bitter taste in your mouth, no pun intended, where both of you are feeling disappointed in yourselves, in each other. There might even be resentment involved in there, all because you're having a inner conflict within yourself. Because this too might be something that you have buried deep down within you that you thought would not pop up again. And yet, here comes a person that has made this pop up, and you just can't explain it or understand the fullness as to why. So, Torrens, for those groups who this is speaking to, the advice for you is to find your peace within yourself, to be yourself fully and completely, instead of trying to stifle parts of who you are out of fear of stigmas or what other people may think. Because the reality is the bulk of the world doesn't give a shit anymore. Those who care don't matter, and those who matter don't care. And the ones who matter, who do care, might be because they're interested themselves. So keep that in mind too. You're not being authentic to yourself if you are stifling this within yourself, knowing that it's something that you want. And that will only cause disappointment in yourself. And this can lead to a perpetual pattern if left unchecked. So please take your time, but use that time wisely. Don't just sit there hoping time passes by. Use that time, right? Use that time to work on yourself. Use that time to unearth things that you don't want to unearth but need to. That way you can confront it and address it as necessary. Now, that's not saying unearth everything, unearth what is relevant and handle that as necessary. And communicate with your person in honesty. Be honest with them. Some of you may have an addiction to alcohol as well. And some of you are just dealing with toxic behaviors that stem from earlier trauma or toxic behaviors that you were exposed to, right? So let me reiterate this in a clearer way because I was channeling for that. Um, you yourself may not realize that you're handling things in a toxic manner, but to you it works and it's tried and true because that's what you've been exposed to from a young age. And so that's how you had to go on. Now, I'm being asked to look at the Knight of Pentacles again. The Knight of Pentacles goes on this long journey all by himself and makes it from start to end on his own. So some of you may, and the Knight of Pentacles is, the Knights are typically younger people, right? Knights are typically somewhere within their low 20s to mid 30s, low mid 30s, right? We'll say like 20 to 35. So you may be a person who identifies as someone who's always had to be independent and do everything on your own. And so you don't like to verbalize your emotions the way you are able to verbalize your thoughts. And your person may be a individual who is able to articulate their emotions and speak their hearts as fluently as you are able to speak your thoughts. And this may also add to your conflict here. Now, let's backtrack to the other group of Taurans who are not dealing with an LGBT crisis, or at least the crisis being your the way in which you identify, right? You may be in a situation where you're dealing with a romantic interest in the workspace, and the romantic interest in the workspace is causing some form of conflict with for you. Not that they are the ones doing it, but the situation itself is a manner of conflict. Now, this could be a matter of your work performance is being affected, or your person's work, or both of your work performances are being affected. Now, some people are able to perform better when they work near their loved ones because they want to put on their best performance in front of them. And some get distracted. Now, you may be in a position where you can't afford such distractions, but it's happening. And other people are noticing. And what makes it a problem is this relationship should not be happening at all because of the nature of your line of work. And so you have a decision to make on how you want to go about it. I feel like this is causing problems with your relationship more so than it is with your job, which is why we have Page of Cups following the Two of Cups. There may be someone with whom... Oh, this is entering a different group now. Let's finish that group first. So, for the group of Taurans that I was just speaking to, you're in a position where you need to figure out your balance with your relationship and with your line of work. Now, if your relationship is a positive and healthy relationship, and the only toxicity that's coming in here are the stresses that it's bringing because of work, that's one thing. But if the relationship itself is toxic and you're just refusing to let go of it for whatever your reasons are, that's a different story entirely. And you need to discern which of the two it is and move accordingly. Now, if you don't come to a decision, then one will be made for you, and it will not be one that you like the results of. And that is not a threat. That is what's coming up with Devil Tower following Four of Cups. The Tower is an unexpected change that you don't see coming, and it can be a very uncomfortable change. It can feel like your world is being turned upside down like a snow globe and shaken. Um, but it's not always a bad thing. It just feels uncomfortable or bad in the moment. How you go about that tower moment determines whether it's going to be a bad thing or not. And it's best to handle it preemptively before the tower moment comes, because it's not something we typically like to experience. Now, I have a third group of Taurans, whom is contemplating, doesn't seem like it's happened, contemplating reconciling with a person whom they have feelings for, who they feel either has or once had feelings for them reciprocated. And there may have been some kind of toxic situation that has occurred between the two of you that had caused some form of conflict. The word that came to mind was trauma. For whom I cannot say. It's not clear. Possibly both of you. Um, However, I don't feel like it's going to go the way you're anticipating it will. Um, and that's because we have the tower. Now, it doesn't say whether it's going to turn out positively or not, because the Four of Cups isn't only a card of disappointment, it's also a card of meditation. And that seems to be why you have not made the move yet, because you're unsure of how it's going to go. You want to see the end goal in sight, so that you can proceed on that journey. That is very Knight of Pentacles. However, in this case, you can't see the end goal, and so you haven't moved. And because you haven't moved, things are not going in the way you want it to. And the longer you take, the less likely you are to succeed in getting what you want. Sometimes we have to take a leap of faith and make moves despite not knowing what the end result is going to be. And perhaps part of your lesson with this relationship has to do with having faith or being faithful with the devil card here. I don't know if you've cheated on this person or if this person has cheated on you, Taurus, but someone in here, and it looks like it's you, wants to reconcile and come back together. And this is a person whom you've encountered while at work. Now, this doesn't have to be a coworker. You could be someone who works at home, online, and encountered someone while you were working online, digitally, virtually. This could be someone you've encountered for those of you who are servicemen or servicewomen. You may have encountered someone while in the service whom is not of the service, or maybe they are. You could have known this person or felt like you've known this person for a long time. It feels like you both met and hit it off immediately, right away, really well. I'm feeling this sense of like mutual respect and this confusion of where did we go wrong? How did everything get to this point? And is it possible? And if so, how do I get everything to go back to how it once was? And if that's how you truly feel, Taurus, then it would seem that the answer would be to take that leap of faith and allow yourself to show your heart with the Page of Cups and the Two of Cups. if you are coming across from an authentic place and you are able to take accountability, which is huge, then I don't see why things will end in a negative manner. However, if you are unable to do both of those things, which also requires you to unearth things for yourself, whether privately or publicly, and address them again, either privately or publicly, you decide, then I don't see how it will work. I hope that helps, Taurus. Um, I know that's not going to resonate for all of you. Those were three different groups of Taurans I was speaking with right now. But if the messages resonated with you today, please feel free to click and follow and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. If nothing resonated today, please stay tuned to future posts. I will be doing a romance-oriented reading soon, actually. Um, so tune in on that since it seems to be coming in with your finances. Otherwise, thanks for stopping by. Always be good, be happy, and be safe, Taurus. I wish you the absolute best. Good luck, and take care.